There's more! I'm back! CGI shit!
I rest my case.
It was fucking horrible!
Hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here, and welcome to another opening night, and, okay, after, 2 months of it being in theaters, I finally saw it. In fact, it's actually the last, movie being released in theaters right now. It's the last screening of the movie before it got closed down for good, and it's finally on digital. I managed to catch the last screening at, actually, my girl's movie theater. I went to visit her for the weekend, but, yeah, I got a chance to finally see what a lot of people have been wanting me to see, specifically Zilla Universe on Patreon. This is a Patreon request. Transformers 1. Now, what the hell is this? Because didn't we have a Transformers movie last year? So, what this is essentially an animated prequel or origin story to the rivalry between Optimus Prime and Megatron from the OG G1 Transformers series, and their inevitable war for Cybertron. So, full disclosure, I am a casual Transformers fan. My generation's Transformers was Beast Wars, hence why I was really excited for Rise of the Beast last year. But to give it a little rundown on the movies, theatrical films, I still haven't watched the 86 film fully yet. Although I've seen most of it. I love the soundtrack. There's some great moments in it. Just haven't watched it all the way through. I love the first Michael Bay one. I think the Michael Bay one is a genuinely decent action flick. I hated Revenge of the Fallen. Piece of shit. The third one's a hugely massive epic. Violent as hell, but epic. I have refused to see Transformers 4 and 5 for reasons. I thought Bumblebee was great, but I thought it was a little too 80s, and then Rise of the Beast I can actually declare to be my favorite of the series because it balances the G1 and Beast Wars, which is my generation, and it does a really cool thing with the ending. So when they announced this as the following film, I was a little taken back because Rise of the Beast ended on a cliff note that I thought would be a perfect forward for the franchise. This is where I want it to go. Spoiler alerts, they're going to cross over with G.I. Joe. I'm all for it. I just want Megatron and Cobra Commander to meet. It would be amazing. But with this being an animated film, and a prequel nonetheless, I was a little concerned because it's also got a basic cast. Chris Hemsworth takes over for Peter Cullen. We have, I can't remember who plays Megatron, but he's a prominent actor. Scarlett Johansson is, I believe, RC. And then we have Bumblebee, obviously, and we have a few other actors in it. I didn't know this. Steve Buscemi is Starscream. I'm like, that is oddly perfect casting. But I was a little skeptical, and especially given the fact that it's not really their full forms as we know them as the Transformers. But again, it's an origin story. I'll think about it. But then when the movie came out 2 months ago, a lot of people were saying, dude, Jack, you have to see this. Holy shit, it's amazing. And I'm like, really? Okay. So, finally got a chance to see it because I've been so busy with some other projects. And, short version is, it's good. It's good. It's, very much what a lot of people said. It's a well-animated film. It's really a great origin story for these characters. The actors do a fine job. And it does something interesting with the franchise. This is actually, I wasn't too sure who did full animation on this, but turns out it was ILM, who are responsible for the animation behind all the Transformers movies. And this is almost, I think, their second animated film next to Rango. And I liked Rango when that came out. So this one's interesting. The story revolves around Optimus and Megatron before they became who they became. They were known as Orion Pax and D16. Who were buddies, who worked in the mines collecting energon, and they live on Cybertron. They get into wacky adventures only to discover the awful truth of who's running Cybertron, and you see inevitably how these two brothers become more divided as they go along their quest, and how they ultimately become enemies, how they ultimately become the battle between the Autobots and the Decepticons. And that's the short version. And I think it's a decent film. I think it is. Is it one of my favorite Transformers movies? I will say it is a little less in terms of other films, but it is still a good movie. Like, that does not take away that this is still one of the better films. I do like how it's an origin story. I do like that it sort of acts as a prequel, and in fact, people who have never seen Transformers can start here. It's decent. I will say this with the animation and the tone of the film. It reminded me of a lot of Blue Sky productions. I'd say it's like the combination of robots, and there was one other movie that it reminded me of. I think like Guardians Owls of Ga'Hoole. It had that style, but it was more leaning towards that robots look, where it's a very robotic world, obviously. It was giving me that vibe, but also the idea of a robot rebellion. I think it was giving me definitely that vibe of seeing these two characters, or seeing like this whole world and how it becomes, and especially with the villain. The villain reminded me a lot of Ratchet from Robots. And so it was giving me that vibe, which I actually did appreciate, I did like. And with that being said, like, it's just sort of just very simple. It's not too crazy, it's not too, bombastic. It's pretty simple to the point of being a little cliche, a little bit generic, a little too simple-minded. It doesn't do anything too creative with these characters, but it sticks to the point in the rules and laws of Transformers. I think Chris Hemsworth is an okay Optimus. I think Scarlett Johansson is RC, which I thought was cool, but again, Steve Buscemi as Starscream is like perfect casting. Also, John Bailey from Honest Trailers. He is now the voice of Soundwave, which I thought was really cool. But I will say this, D16, aka Megatron, I love, one of the biggest takeaways from this film, and a lot of people brought this up, they made you kind of sympathize with him. They made you empathize with him. They got you to understand him more, why he became who he became, why he did what he did, and to some degree, might be for some people a little logical, yet being completely unhinged. And you see a character that we've always known as just a simple bad guy, a simple guy who wants to conquer the galaxy, who wants to take over Cybertron, who feels wronged, but we never know why, and now we see why, and we see how how wanting that power can consume a person. Not just that, but just seeing how something so traumatic happening in his life, his whole world turned upside down, that it leads to this rage, this anger, this aggressiveness that eventually becomes a manifestation where he wants power, he wants control, he doesn't know when to stop. And it makes it fascinating, and it makes you, it explains why in later films, Optimus doesn't just kill the bastard. I mean, he does eventually in some movies, but never fully to where Megatron stays dead. Probably the closest was the third one, but in this movie, they kind of established that the reason why is because they were once sort of brothers in a way, and every time Optimus tries to fight Megatron, he's hoping that good in Megatron, that D16 will come back, and it's like, dude, even Obi-Wan, it's sort of like the Obi-Wan-Anakin relationship to a degree, and this was well done on that account. And here it's like, you can see why, and why Optimus thinks the way he does. It does redeem that character a bit and why he made decisions before. But at the same time, it's like, dude, Megatron is so far gone, you might as well consider killing him mercy. So it does conflicting things with the characters, which I really liked. And kudos to the animators, kudos to the actor who plays him. I don't have the name off the top of his head, but I think he's the guy who was in the Monsterverse movies. He was Hayes, right? That guy. Good actor, and I think this is actually a better role for him. Like, he's got a lot more range this time around. I will say this, too. By the end of the film, it gets extremely violent and dark, and I'm like, there's a moment in this movie, I won't give it away, where this character gets obliterated, and you're just like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, this is supposed to be an animated kids movie, right? Well, it doesn't matter. Like, again, this is good. I love this style. I like how this is back. Anyway, our battery's getting short, so overall, Transformers 1, I really liked it, really enjoyed it. I'd give it a good about a good 8 out of 10. If you want to go check it out digitally and so on. But let me know what you guys think on the film in the comments below. Don't forget to support our Patreon. Just so more will get you early access to all of our content with other special features. Until the next video, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off saying, we're out of time. I'll see you guys later. Take it easy. Roll out.